Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our preview of Waternight for 2023. My name is Costa Georgiadis, and as ambassador for Waternight, I'm very excited to be hosting this conversation with a range of people who are part of the Waternight community. I'd like to start by asking you, our guests, whereabouts are you joining us from? We know that people are signing up all over Australia, and we've even had a reach. Our tentacles or our tap system has reached all the way over to the continent, to the UK, where people have even signed up over there, which is fantastic. We've become international, which is really, really good news. Let us know where you're coming from. Already some people are joining in. David Ting, Gertrude Webb from Coolangatta, Carla Bowman from Christine Calthorpe from Beechworth, Northern Rivers, Stokers Siding. So also let us know which country you're coming to us from. I'd like to start by acknowledging the Darug people, and I'd like to acknowledge that I'm on Darug and Gundungurra country here in the Blue Mountains west of Sydney. Acknowledge elders past and present, and acknowledge that everything we do for Waternight is about looking after this incredible planet where we live, but most of all, looking after the water and the water supply and the future of water exactly where we live in our suburbs, in our states, and of course all around Australia and the world. So it's wonderful to be embarking on our fourth, yes, not one, not two, not three, but this is our fourth Water Night, and I'm really chuffed to be leading us into it tomorrow night. Plenty more people coming on. Hello, Alex from Brisbane. Karen all the way from Gubby country on the Sunshine Coast. We've got Bo from Bendigo, Danielle from Ballina, Jen Gatt from the Northern Rivers. Hello, Jen. And Carly Ambler from Canberra, and Judy is on Duringunge country. Welcome, Judy. We've got Taswesia as well. Wow, people coming in from everywhere. Edward Ames, yes, regards. We need our H2O. So basically tonight is all about introducing you to some guests ranging across local government, ranging across infrastructure organisations, and even families, so that we can give you a taste of what Waternight is all about, and of course ask you to sign up. Waternight.com.au, where I'll leave it to Chris, the CEO of the Water Conservancy, to give you some of the numbers that he has got for us to give you an idea of just how far the message has got this year in 2023, which is fantastic. But I'll put all the links up as we go. Gee, we've got Michelle Killick. She's in Sydney from Mykonos. Well, that's fantastic. And Deborah E is from Campbelltown on Dharawal country. Thanks for joining in, Deborah. So I'll have all the links there, and of course we're encouraging everyone tonight to share it with their family, their friends, and their communities, their schools, so that we can encourage as many people to sign up, because the more people that sign up, the better our data is. The better the data is, the more influence we can have in terms of driving change and driving this behaviour change that we need around our water. So to get started, I'd like to introduce our first guest, and please welcome everyone, Chris from the Water Conservancy. Chris, it's great to see you. Welcome to Water Night. Give us a little bit of background about where you fit in the Water Conservancy and how the 2023 campaign is looking.
Yeah, hi Costa. It's great to be here as always. I love this event that we do every year in the lead up to Water Night, and I'm the CEO of the Water Conservancy. And for those who don't know, we are Australia's not-for-profit working nationally to help everyone use water more efficiently and also help raise levels of water knowledge and awareness to help people value water more so that we can in turn use it efficiently. And really, it's so important for us to value water, and that really is the key thing. We found that many of us really don't think about where our water comes from. We don't even know where our water comes from. We even don't think about how often we're using our taps in our homes. We're using water many more times a day than we realize we are. We really take it for granted. We really use it on autopilot. And we're so lucky to have high quality treated drinking water delivered straight to our homes. And really, that is something that we all just need to sort of sit back for 5 hours and go, wow, there are some people working really hard to treat and pump water and get it to our homes, and they do a great job. And then we're using water every day, whether it's brushing our teeth or filling up glasses for drinking or flushing toilets, or, we're not thinking about that water and really valuing it in the way that we should be. And so that's why we launched Waternight 4 years ago, to really give people 5 hours from 5 p.m. till 10 p.m. when we can't use water. Because it's not until we're told we can't use it that we actually go, oh, wow, I actually really appreciate this amazing product now that comes to my home. And so that's what it's all about, for those 5 hours tomorrow night from 5 p.m. till 10 p.m. to be able to just sit back and go, oh, now I can't use it. Now I really appreciate it. Now I value it. We've got loads of resources available at waternight.com.au to help people learn about how water is getting to their home, to understand the process that water goes through, from the natural water cycle through pumping stations and treatment plants to get to our homes. And then really the experience of not using water for 5 hours. So no taps, no showers, no running water for 5 hours is really quite invaluable in terms of just getting us to think about water for the first time, potentially the first time that any of us have all year. And I'm so excited this year because we've got the most signups that we've ever had. So, we've got almost 4,000 households across Australia that have signed up to participate tomorrow night. That equates to about 11,000 individuals. So, and that is sort of, that's more than double what we had. Actually, sorry, it's more than 3 times what we had last year. And it is really? By far the biggest sign-ups that we've ever had. And so I'd encourage everybody that's listening, please, we want to kill our numbers even more. We want to get more and more sign-ups. So in the next hour while we're talking to you, just go on to waternight.com.au and just sign up quickly now, so we can really, let's get up from 4,000 to 5,000 in the next hour. Let's make that our goal, hey?
Oh, that sounds like a good goal to me. But what a fantastic growth that is, to think that, we've literally tripled the numbers on last year. And again, it's not about how that compares to the population or anything. It's about the fact that there's 4,000 people with real skin in the game who are sharing that with their families and with their communities. If we continue to build year on year like that, well, then it won't be long before we get up into the tens and of course, hundreds of thousands of people. But what a great result so far. And we haven't even started the evening tomorrow night.
That's right. And, our research shows us that we all want to do the right thing. We really do. We want to use water wisely. We want to do the right thing when it comes to the environment, when it comes to climate change, when it comes to our water supplies. We want to be doing the right thing, but we just need a little bit of help to sort of understand what are the right water-wise behaviors, what are the things we should and shouldn't do. I think, those people that are listening on the call that are on tank water have totally understand, and there's a comment right there from Jen Gatt. Those people really understand, they're listening going, oh, I know this already, Waternight, well, I don't need that, but most of us aren't on tank water. Most of us are in an urban environment connected to a water supply, and we're using water very much on autopilot and taking it for granted. So, it really does. Waternight gives us that experience. It really does, to help us value water more.
But isn't it interesting that people like Jen and Karen are on here and sharing that experience, and in effect that's really what that 5 hours is about. That idea of saying, well, it isn't this bottomless tap. Suddenly the tap is not running, which anyone living in tank water knows that they watch the tank go up and down. The more we can be aware of that in the city, and the more we can be consciously taking steps every day to save just a small amount. And as we know, in a city like Sydney with 6 million people, if everyone just saved the equivalent of 3 or 4 flushes a day, 30 litres times 6 million people, we're talking a huge amount of water. And it's not a difficult ask from a behavioural point of view. It's just the change mentality that needs to be embedded.
Yeah, it's just simple things, it's small changes in our behavior. We know that lots of people still, run dishwashers and washing machines when they're not full. They're still having long showers. They're still hosing hard surfaces. Those things are quite easy to change. It's just, you just have to think about your water use a bit. So, make sure that you're filling up your dishwashers and your washing machines full, so you're getting full use out of your water. Make sure that when you're in the shower, try not to be in there as long as you might be. So we're not saying everyone needs to take a 4-minute shower. If someone's taking 1 hour in the shower, as we have heard sometimes, which is pretty shocking, then we don't expect that person to reduce their shower from 1 hour to 4 minutes. Why not cut it down to half an hour as a first point? Then that's a great saving in itself, to save half an hour of water. And then gradually, you can start to improve. So I think that's the way to think about it. Not everything works for everybody. Just little things here and there are right for some people,
I like what Alex said here. Welcome, Alex. A great personal challenge in the city is re-educating my children. And Alex, that's exactly what Waternight is about. It's this opportunity to create an educational space that's informative, engaging, but not sort of prescriptive, because we want people to feel and understand the change. I mean, even just asking the question, and we're going to ask our first guests, a simple question like how long do you think, or how many litres a minute do you think your shower uses? And just once you get to know that, it's going to change the way you think about it, because you go, if I cut back from 5 minutes to 3 minutes, I'm saving, at least 30 to 40 litres, depending on the type of shower head you have. And that's where Smart Approved Watermark comes in, which Chris will talk about later, which is the equivalent of those stickers that you see on your electrical appliances that talk about energy efficiency. Well, Waternight's all about water efficiency and how we can spend our dollars wisely on quality products that save water and don't waste water. So what do you reckon, Chris? Will we bring in Nick?
Yeah, let's have a chat with Nick and his family and see how they're getting on.
Okay. Where is he? I'm working on a different screen here because I'm up in the Blue Mountains on a big screen that has a computer and a screen. So I'm kind of looking over the computer to see. But here we go. Let's bring Nick on. Oh, where's Nick? I think he's left the room.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Oh, here he is. He's joining us. Maybe just getting his camera sorted out.
Oh. Hello, Nick. While we're waiting, Valerie Lawton, I hardly use my dishwasher. I wash by hand. Deborah has said, living through our last El Nino event, we got down to less than 24% water levels in the dams in our area. Considering we're a major growth area, we're at risk of running out of water if a long drought comes along again. So, yeah, this is true, Deborah, and managing that water really matters. Where's Nick gone? Shall we?
Is
he calling you?
Can you hear us, Nick?
Yeah.
Oh, there he is.
There he is.
I Yeah, sorry guys, I don't know what
That's
happened.
okay. No problem.
Said I was in the show, but there was no pictures or sounds or anything.
Yeah,
We've got you now.
Costa,
welcome,
Chris, how are
welcome,
you?
Nick.
Yeah, thank you.
Whereabouts are you in the country?
Oh, look, we're just in Sydney, just near Manly, at Manly Vale.
Oh, yeah, yep. And is this your first Waternight experience?
Yeah, look, no, we had a go last year, actually. Chris is, a pretty good friend of the family. And so he got us onto it, and it's just been a great way to educate the children of how valuable water is.
So what sort of things for other families watching, or for parents or grandparents, whoever might be watching and is thinking of doing it, what are some of the ways that you're preparing for Waternight?
Yeah, look, we'll definitely fill up all the kids' drink bottles because they're always telling me they're thirsty every 5 minutes. We might even skip shower and bath night that night, or get it done in the morning. Luckily, we've just had a little bit of rain here, so don't need to worry about the gardening.
Have you got any idea how many times you think you go for a tap to turn the tap on every day?
Yeah, look, I mean, we're a family of 5.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And I was trying to do some numbers, and it's got to be more than 50. I think if you sort of include, showers and, every time someone goes to the toilet, maybe rinse a plate, wash a piece of fruit. I mean, it's pretty much constant all day.
Yeah, exactly.
It's probably a lot more than we even think.
Yeah, so as a behavior, it's just embedded. It's just a go-to sort of thing that you just expect that tap to be on.
Yeah, exactly right. We hardly even think about it. It's which is why we want to do this, is so we do think about it and start realizing how much water we're using, because we all need it to survive.
So, are you doing anything at the moment to kind of look at ways of conserving water? Are there any family techniques?
Yeah,
or
look, we've been lucky enough that we've built a new house, so we've got a pretty large water tank on the side of the house, and that runs the toilets and the gardening, which is great. That's probably the biggest one, and then all the taps and the shower heads, they're all water-wise products. So I mean that's probably the most that we do. The toilets do the half flush. I mean, the kids forget to flush the toilet half the time, so there's a water saving.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like who taught you these things? Like for anyone else listening,
yeah,
where did you get that info?
Yeah, I don't think much from the schools. Chloe, do you get anything from school about being water wise?
Sometimes at science.
Oh, sometimes in science they learn a little bit about water conservation. Look, apart from that, from memory, our water comes from Sydney Water, so they often have little pamphlets and tips. And then there was a lot of advertising last time we were in the drought, about conserving water.
Yeah, and so that Sydney Water is your supplier. They're giving you those tips in their your I don't know, quarterly water bills, I suppose.
Yeah, in the water bill.
Yeah. So how do you feel participating will benefit and educate the family in that sense?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it educates us in a way that we've got to consciously think about what we're doing with water rather than just taking it for granted. I mean, I had a quick look at my water bill, and we use 540 litres a day, and I was like, oh wow, that's I mean, how is it? 26 million people in Australia. We all, I'm not sure if that's a high amount or a low amount. I mean, a family of 5.
How's that work, Chris?
I reckon that sounds like a lot to me. I don't know.
Yeah,
Nick, you can do better than that, mate.
I'll tell you a little story that it just came about with the water tank that's on the side of the house. So we've actually been living in here just over 12 months. And one evening I was watering the garden and I noticed that the meter was still going while I was watering the garden. I went, well, that's strange. I'm supposed to be using a tank. But when they handed over the house, there's a power point above the water tank that you can't see, and no one turned it on. So I called the builder and said, why, what's going on? So, if someone's out there and they've just built a house and they've got a water tank, make sure the pump power point right on the top of the tank is on.
It's a good tip. Very good tip.
Yeah.
They are those little things, because the other thing we were talking about at the launch of Waternight the other night is just how much money can be saved by checking for leaks, having a look at your water meter, see if it's running when there's nothing else running, and getting those checks done. It's really important to look at that. I was involved with a school, and until they did their smart schools program in Victoria, they found that they had a leak that ended up saving the school $6,000 a quarter. So that was like $25,000 of water that was just running, but no one had ever done an audit until this Eco Smart Schools program came in. So there's lots of good positive things that I think, and this goes back to what I was saying earlier, the more people that sign up, the more this data can be used to support and generate more good programs to get out there and save more water and bring that message further. So, it's that to me is why, it's a no-brainer to be involved as an ambassador for this, because I just know how important it is in the long term. But I also appreciate that everything I do in environmental education is about incremental change. And that's the best way, when people make small behavior changes that they've engendered. Like, no one wants to be told. They want to be brought in for the ride. And that's why, we really appreciate you coming on, Nick. And who's with you again?
Oh, sorry, this is Chloe.
Hi, Chloe.
Yeah, eldest daughter. Sorry, the wife is she's got the spicy cough, and the other two boys are just running around the house, hitting each other.
Yeah.
You're well, mate.
So I brought the child that actually sits still.
Yeah. Helpful.
Thanks, Chloe. Thanks for coming along. And I know that you're capable of sharing this message with your class and your teacher and your school and your school friends, so that next year, I hope that we can get your school involved and bring all of those classes on, because each student in your class, if you've got 400 students in your school, they've all got a family of at least 10 people minimum, not immediate family, but extended family. You multiply 400 by 10, that's 4,000. You start to do that in 10 schools, there's 40,000, and then that becomes 400,000. So I really value that you're here, Chloe, and I look forward to getting you on as a schools ambassador. What do you reckon?
There you go. Great. Fantastic. All right.
Well, look, Nick and Chloe, thank you for joining us. Thank you for sharing your perspective as a family embarking on their Waternight experience. We appreciate that you've taken the time to join us tonight, and that you're jumping on board tomorrow night for Waternight 2023. Thanks heaps.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Thanks, Costa. Thanks, Chris.
See you, mate. Thank you.
See you later, guys.
Bye.
Yeah. Bye-bye. Good stuff.
All right, Chris.
Great
well,
stuff.
That was great.
Yeah.
Now, I think we're moving to the Department of Climate Change, Energy, Environment and Water. Everyone, that's called DCU.
DCU or DCU? I've heard it both ways. Or your way.
DCU. Well,
Yeah.
that's you. Ha, that's you. I love a good acronym. That's a given. And it's an absolute pleasure to be able to welcome the head of Division of Water Policy, Matthew Dadswell, to our conversation. Matthew.
Yeah, hi Costa. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yeah,
Great
yeah.
to-
Hi, Matthew.
Yeah, g'day, Chris. DQ is how we say it here.
DQ.
So,
Okay.
so
I've
there's
often
a bit-
wondered, actually. I've heard it several ways.
Yeah. DQ. So yeah, look, absolutely, the department this year is absolutely proud to be the Waternight principal sponsor, and absolutely delighted to be working with the Water Conservancy and you, Costa, to promote Waternight, which aims to raise greater awareness of the importance of water, and turning off those non-essential taps for a few hours tomorrow night just really provides us with an important opportunity to stop and recognise that water is a finite resource and we can't afford to take it for granted. We live on the driest inhabited continent on Earth, and I think most Australians realise that. But then we get complacent. We think we can just flip the tap and water comes out. And look, through the great work of our urban water utilities and others, that often happens. But water is one of those things where you get it you're used to it, and when it's there, you hardly think about it. When it's not there, you really do think about it. And I similarly, sort of to some of your guests, grew up and have been on tank water and know how quickly water can turn into a crisis, and I think it's all just worth reflecting on that. We also have to be, we've got finite water resource. Australia's population keeps growing. We've got climate change, which really is throwing in and adding a lot of variability in terms of when it's going to rain. We either have too much rain and floods, or we don't have enough and we have droughts. And that's particularly when a lot of us realise how very vital that water is for so many things, for our industry, agriculture, for our drinking water. So look, a couple of things I was keen to just touch on is a couple of things we do in the Commonwealth Government. Most water is managed by local government, so your local shire councils and by state governments. But at the Commonwealth, we try to do things that make sense to do at a national level. So where it's just more efficient, and that we try to make sure that across Australia there are common ways that water is managed. And one of the key areas we do is water quality standards. So we work with states and territories to develop water quality standards to make sure that Australians are always drinking the best quality water they can, and that we can treat and make sure we treat that water so people have safe water to drink. The other thing we do is work a lot with states and territories to make sure that the water resources they have, they do manage well, and so that we're making the right decisions about how much water for agriculture, how much water for human consumption, how much water for industry and the environment. These are very hard decisions, particularly in the driest inhabited continent. So we work a lot with states and territories on that, and trying to do the best job we can there. The other area we do is a lot of water information, so information on how much water is where, and the Bureau of Meteorology does a great job in that. So it's well worth checking out their website, and they've got a huge amount of resources and information about what levels are the dams at, and how is water moving around Australia, which is pretty world leading. And then just finally, the last thing I'll touch on is something I'm really super excited and always very excited to talk about is I've got a great team that work with me, and they lead the water efficiency labelling scheme. So this is Australia's urban water saving scheme. And this is the star rating that you'll see on water devices. Taps, showers, dishwashers, washing machines. It's that 6-star rating that gives anyone who's buying those products good information about the water efficiency of that product. And the aim is to, of course, buy the product that has the most stars, because that's the most water efficient. And I've got a team here that help assess those products, make sure that the products that people are buying have been assessed and clearly show those labels about their water efficiency. And that then means then we as consumers can make sure we're doing our part for saving water. And look, it's a really significant scheme. It's something that I think touches us all. We all have an opportunity to participate in. We don't have to. It's just simply our buying decisions that are important here, and we can make a difference. So we estimate that each year it saves around 165 gigalitres of water. So how much is that? That's about 66,000 Olympic swimming pools, if you can imagine that. So that's 165 gigalitres saved every year, just by people doing the right thing and trying to buy those products and going for the highest star ratings they can. Now, it also, I think the important thing here is, we've talked already a bit about it, water you have to pay for it. You pay it in utility bills. There's also, you have to pay if you're heating it. So if you're heating it and so being able to use water efficiently means you're not using as much heated water, so you're not consuming as much energy. And, these times when cost of living is getting a bit tight, then, every sort of dollar counts. So this scheme, by purchasing and using these products and having these available, saving Australians $1.5 billion every year. And in their water bills and their energy bills. And so what that means, that's around about $143 a household per year, and around about 17 litres per person per day. So I think that's a really realistic way that we can make a difference. You can find out more information on that at Water Rating, one word, waterrating.gov.au, and there you'll be able to do searches for products that you might be looking at. There's some of those 6-star products, and what sort of models are available, particularly if you're in the market for a new tap or shower. You'll be able to look up those products there and make an informed choice. And the Water Conservancy do a lot of work with them, and really supportive of their work that they do to promote that program and their own watermark, which takes it another step further. So look, they're just a couple of things I wanted to highlight, Costa, and lovely to talk to you and your guests there.
Wow, thank you, Matthew. It's wonderful to hear about the water rating, because that elevates it to that level that we've all become so accustomed to when it comes to energy. No one buys anything without looking at that sticker. Is it a 5? Is it a 4? Is it a 6? And to get this from the federal level down is really wonderful, because then all the other layers of government, but most of all everyday citizens, can sort of participate in something that we're all working on. And then it becomes more than the sum of the parts, because as a collective we're going to save a lot more if we're all working together, rather than having someone saying, well, we're geniuses because we've reduced our water as a family down to so little. But if the people down the street aren't, we need lots of people doing a little bit, not just a few people doing a lot, because then that's not going to get the outcomes that we need. And it's wonderful to hear. And we've put up on the chat, everyone, the waterrating.gov.au/choose. So copy those down and have a look around. It's been really, really important. And this is that stuff, preparation, isn't it, Chris? This is why we want to have conversations like this. And I welcome all the replay viewers, anyone that's watching this on replay, because this information isn't going anywhere. We've got it here. You can come back, you can cut and paste it and share it. And it's really important that we all share this broadcast so that people can get a taste of Waternight from all our guests, and most of all from the information that they're sharing. Do you have anything to add for relative to what Matthew's just spoken about, Chris?
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to add how lucky, just to reflect on how we talked earlier around how lucky we are that we have high quality treated drinking water pumped direct to our homes, and how Waternight gives us a chance to really value that and understand it better, and then use it wisely. But I think it's quite good to reflect on what Matthew just said about the WELS program, the water efficiency labelling scheme, that a lot of people probably know best from when they go into a retail store and they see the blue stars on the dishwashers and washing machines as they walk in. We're really lucky to have that as well. A lot of countries don't have such a fabulous quality rating scheme that really enables us all to make an informed decision around the machine that is using the least amount of water the most efficiently, alongside the energy label as well. So you can then decide which one you want to go for and make that right environmental decision based on energy, but also on water. So we're really lucky that we have such a great labelling scheme, such as WELS in Australia, and other countries may adopt it shortly too, because it's just been used as a benchmark to develop an international standard, which is fabulous as well. But I think so I just wanted to just acknowledge that, and just sort of what Matthew just said, that it's just great that we've got that scheme, and really appreciate the support of the department when it comes to Waternight, and for 2 years running, and hopefully more years to come too.
Yeah. Thanks. Thanks very much, Chris. And yeah, I mean, it's world leading, absolutely, that scheme. And I think
Yeah.
that comes from, we're the driest continent. We do value water. Waternight takes it to another level, of course. And that's why we have these things. And look, it'd be great to grow that scheme and build on it even further, because I think there's so much to be gained. You heard the sort of figures I said; they're fantastic, and it really helps everybody to participate and save water in a very real way in the purchasing decisions they make.
I just noticed here on the chat that Jeanette Russell has registered for Waternight. Well,
yay!
thank you. And to anyone else joining us in the conversation here, if you haven't signed up, but you're part of it, but just haven't taken the minute or two to sign up, you can see the link at the bottom there, waternight.com.au. Jump on and sign up, and let's push those numbers that Chris mentioned and see how close we can get to 5,000 households around the country signing up. And
sorry to interrupt, but I think we should add too, like, obviously we're assuming that everyone's signing up for the fabulous event that Waternight is, and to increase their water knowledge and value water more. But we should also add that there are some amazing giveaways that we have. So anyone who signs up goes in the chance to win one of our fabulous giveaways, and I can quickly list them off the top of my head. So we have Garmin watches, Apple AirPods, a Bosch dishwasher, very high rated Wells rating Bosch dishwasher. We have an air fryer oven. We have some Wobble Tea sprinklers, and we have a fabulous air garden, and Prue from Air Garden is on later to talk a bit more about that. So we have some great prizes up for grabs. So anyone who registers at waternight.com.au will go into the running to win one of those amazing giveaways. So please get typing now.
Well, thank you, Chris, and Matthew. Thanks for joining us, and you're welcome to stay on if you have time while we bring in our last two guests, and then at the end, for everyone who's joined us for the chat, you're welcome to ask any of our guests a question. So feel free to post any of your questions in the chat. We'll put them in order, and then I'll ask everyone the appropriate questions as we go. So our next guest, I meant to ask, whereabouts are you, Matthew? What state are you in?
I'm in Canberra, so yep, in the office still, so yep.
Okay, well, from Canberra, we're jumping in the TARDIS, and we're heading out to Rouse Hill, where our next guest, so Rouse Hill in Western Sydney, our next guest is Alexandra Grafani. Where is she? I'll just bring Alexandra up. Good evening, Alexandra. How are you?
Good evening. I'm well, thank you, Costa.
Tell us a little bit about Rouse City Council, where you are, how big an area do you cover, and what's your role?
So Rouse County Council is in New South Wales, in northern New South Wales. We're the bulk water supplier for over 100,000 residents, and they are actually in 4 local government areas. So across the areas of Ballina, Byron, Lismore and Richmond Valley councils. And we try and manage the changing demands on our water supply in that region through the weather patterns like El Nino and through our increasing population, and then also as we move to the future. I work as the Water Education Officer. So I'm lucky enough to develop programs, creating resources and targeting schools and our community, trying to get them a little bit more engaged with their unconscious, perhaps, use of water and a bit connected to their water and their water sources, and passing on those suggestions on ways that we can all save water together. Just like the Water Conservancy, we're seeking to improve the water literacy in our region because Rouse County Council believe that's a really high priority. So even if that's just having everyone know exactly where our water comes from and the process it takes to get it to your tap, and just how precious this finite resource is, so that we can get people to realise all the ways that we use it and encourage those sustainable behaviours. So for us, Water Night is a fantastic opportunity to raise awareness and to act as a little bit of a reminder to people just why we should be using those sustainable water behaviour practices. So we're really proud to be sponsors again for the year. And because we believe in Water Night, we've done a few things in the lead up, which I'm happy to talk with you about if you'd like.
Yeah, tell us about it. And actually, before you do, can I just apologise? I sort of read that and I was thinking Rouse as in Western Sydney, and then I realised as a county council that's a bigger district thing. So my apologies there. I kind of
that's fine. It's a common mistake. We're a little bit unique, I think. We're the only county council that has multiple functions, but water is our main one, and that's our focus.
So,
all right.
So what? Tell us what sort of things are you doing?
So, in our lead up for Water Night for the last few months, we've been increasing our sustainable water use messaging on our social media platforms, as well as sharing some of the fantastic content from the Water Conservancy. And we've had a fairly good response to that. We've done a bit of a poster blitz. So we've, across our offices, in our local areas, community notice boards, across our local university, we've even been lucky enough, Costa, to have your face decorating a bus in our region, advertising Water Night and going around.
I'm on a bus. Oh my God.
You're on a bus.
You'll have to take a photo of that. That's a first.
It's a very good looking bus. We've also done advertising.
Are they hopping on the bus or are they going, oh my God, that's scary?
So we've also been focusing on advertising through our local council. So looking at their magazines and publications. We've been having community announcements be done on our local radio stations, including a Q&A session that's happening tomorrow morning. And then our regular events that I run, our education events, we've been adding Water Night onto the end there, distributing some of the resources that have been going out. So there are tap guardians now across our region, all ready for tomorrow night. Hopefully they'll be doing their job reminding people about turning off those taps for those 5 hours. And we've also been kind of blasting our local schools because we know that they can have a real ripple effect in our community. I believe you said it before, every student in those schools has a wider family and can spread that message. And if we get those wonderful young people engaged and get them understanding just why our water is so precious and all those little things that they can help do at home, then we'll be in good shape to all be conserving water together, and all those little bits will add up. So we're hoping that we'll have a bit of a record-breaking number in our region of registrations, and so that we can all be participating together for Water Night tomorrow night.
That's fantastic. Those initiatives, I really love that. Those guardians, I mean, bringing in the local representatives, bringing in those local champions, championing the schools, championing local community groups. That's where we get the message across really personally, rather than, it's not just about my noggin being on the back of the bus, because while that can bring some attention, the real rubber on the road is where we have those local champions and the students particularly, because they take it home with a vigor and a zest and a gusto, and they're like, oh no, mum and dad, we got to do this. We want to do this. It's part of what we're doing as a class or what we're doing as a school. And I think for anyone listening, they're really good ideas and initiatives to undertake and share with your local councils and anyone thinking about joining up and sharing the message. So thanks, Alex, for what you've shared with us. It's really, really valuable. And of course, as where was it? Simon Holloway said, he's one of your peeps. Good to see fellow FNC Far North Coasties. Tregeagle boy, and we depended on our rainwater tanks. Thanks for sponsoring tonight.
Great.
So
Glad to
big
see it. The
thanks.
message is getting out.
Yeah, exactly.
And
Thanks,
Costa,
Simon.
Simon is also a Smart Approved Waternight licensee with the founder of the VeggiePod system. So yeah, really pleased to have him watching and on the screen.
Yeah, that's
Hey, Simon.
fantastic.
Yeah, great.
Thank you,
great
Simon.
stuff. Great work.
It really is. All right. Well, that brings us to our final guest for the evening. And I'm just going to, and we're staying up north. We're just going a little way up the coast to the Tweed Shire, where we have Elizabeth Seidel. Elizabeth, here she is.
Hello, how are you, Costa? Hello, everyone.
Elizabeth.
Great.
Hello from the far north coast. There's a few of us here tonight.
Yeah, exactly. Isn't it great to see this level of participation and involvement? And thanks to each and every one of you for taking the time this evening to be available at this hour and share a chat with us. Elizabeth, tell us a little bit about your role, who you're involved with, what the area is that you're working with, your community. Yeah, give us a little bit of background.
Yeah, so I'm from Tweed Shire Council, and basically we look after the Tweed Shire, and I'm from the Water and Wastewater Unit of Council, the Water Efficiency and Connections. And one of my jobs is to run water efficiency programs throughout the Tweed. I've been doing that for quite a few years. And I guess we're fortunate. We normally get a lot of rainwater, but interestingly enough, we're entering a phase at the moment, and we're heading into water restrictions. And I guess Waternights come at a time, well, very timely for us, because we've over the last few weeks we've been trying to integrate the Waternight message about water mindfulness and changing behaviours around water use, but mixing that with this message. Well, hang on, if everyone, if you don't reduce your water use, we're going to get water restrictions sooner rather than later, and every bit counts. So we've been working with Chris and the Water Conservancy and using a lot of their resources available to try and educate our community, similar to Alexandra's community, trying to, just, putting up social media posts. We've got buses too with the Waternight message, just trying to get through to people how, to become more mindful. And I think that's why Waternight's such a great initiative. We're sponsoring Waternight for the 4th year running. So we've found that it's a really, really positive, there's lots of positive messages around Waternight about being mindful of water use and making sure that we conserve this precious resource, which is water. And when we're talking about the towns, because Tweed has some major town areas of Tweed, obviously, and then Murwillumbah and some of the coastal areas, we're talking about treated water. And it costs a lot of money to harvest that water, treat it, and it ends up at people's taps. But it's not that simple. It costs a lot of money, and it's a precious resource. There's a finite supply in our dam. We take our water from the Tweed River, but in dry times we release water from Clary Hall Dam into the river. And then as it gets drier, there's not as much water to go around, and we have to implement water restrictions. And in one of our small villages called Talgum, we're actually going to level 2 water restrictions from next Thursday. So that's how serious it is. And gradually our message is out into the community and more person. So I can't say enough about Waternight, because I just think it's a great initiative to put water to make it centre of mind, especially for that one night, and for people to get a taste of what it's like to go without water and really appreciate water for the precious resource that it is.
Thanks, Elizabeth. Is there one thing that has really resonated when you've been talking to people, like one particular bit of information or angle or slant or approach that's kind of got cut through that stands out, that other people could replicate or use when they're talking to their family or friends or their community or their work colleagues, in terms of your role as an educator in spreading this message?
Look, I think there's quite a lot of messages. I guess one of our key messages is around, I think generally we, like people in general, we don't really have a feel for how much water we actually use. We go into the taps all the time, and volume-wise, what that means. And I think one of the messages we get through to people is, when you leave a tap running, you're using about 20 litres of water a minute. And if someone leaves the tap running by, mistake, that's a lot of wasted water. And I guess I'm focusing on this because we've been really trying to, one of our key messages, linked to the water restrictions and reducing our consumption on a person-to-person basis, is saying, well, if you see a leaking tap, if you see your toilets leaking, it's probably using a lot more water than you realise. And we're not just talking about the big leaks you might get in the garden. They're really critical, and it's really important for people to get those repaired as soon as possible. But even the small leaks around the house, becoming more aware that actually that adds up to a lot of water. That 20 litres a minute, people are quite horrified when they've got a leak and they use about 5,000 litres a day. Well, that's actually a small leak compared to a running tap left open by mistake, because the tap left open running by mistake, you can use about 28,000 litres of water a day. So all those messages around how much water is, what 20 litres of water actually looks like, and what else you could use it for rather than it being wasted. I think they're important messages too.
Yeah, thanks for sharing those stats, because they really make a difference for people to start to understand what that volume is. And if that's 20 litres for that 40 or 50 seconds that you've just stood there or turned the tap on and then gone to the toilet or walked and grabbed your towel and thrown it over the top of the shower hob or whatever it may be, as Deborah said, I have a tank in my laundry to collect water. I have a bucket in the shower to collect that water. It's perfectly good water. And when we see how important that is in the big picture, then we can all make this difference. And I appreciate you sharing those stats with us, Elizabeth.
All right, great.
Can I just make a comment as well?
Yeah, come on.
Elizabeth, I know you're from Tweed in northern New South Wales, and that's the council that you represent and the water that you supply so well. And I think it's so interesting listening to what you have to say, because one of the main aims of Waternight is to add water to the climate change conversation. I think you are, well, not you, but Tweed is a living example of how you've been so affected by climate change in the last couple of years. You've gone from the most crazy floods and now straight into level 2 water restrictions. Like that and I know that you're still trying to, you're still doing flood management and flood repairs at the same time as trying to encourage your community to, restrict water use to level 2. So it's kind of like this whole dichotomy, and they're the two main things. Floods and droughts are the same side of a coin, that it's all about, all directly from climate change, really. So it's the perfect case study, if you like. Tweed is the perfect case study for how water needs to be added to the climate change conversation, and that's what Waternight's all about. So I think having you here tonight to talk about that, it's just, just really, it's brilliant. It really is.
Sure, yeah. And one of the big ironies actually during the floods was one of the main, well, the two main things that were threatened was the water and the sewage, right? So,
yeah,
the providing water to people was actually one of the key things that was threatened in that flood situation. We had, no electricity to run the water treatment plant and the pump stations to provide the water to the taps.
Absolutely. I know we've had a few people signing up, which is fabulous. I just wanted to remind anyone new that's just joined about signing up at waternight.com.au. If anyone wants to get involved and take part in Waternight tomorrow night, we've also have some fabulous prizes up for grab. Just to remind everyone, we've got Garmin watches and Apple AirPods, a Bosch dishwasher, some Wobble Tea, rain sprinklers, an air garden, and a air fryer oven. So loads of prizes up for grabs. 31 prizes up for grabs, and just by entering, you get to be in the running to win one of those.
Well, I'm enjoying some of the comments here. Jen mentioned, Elizabeth, how if you have a power blackout and you can't access the water, just all of these connections that in the city we don't appreciate it because it's kind of distant from us. It's like someone else is doing it. Whereas, even as Jen said here, everyone needs to learn how to change a washer in a tap. Like, these are really simple things that anyone living on the land or in the peri-urban area knows how to do, because you can't just ring someone up and have a 24-hour plumber come and fix it. So I love the fact that we've got an interesting mix of people sharing their experience with us, not only as guest speakers, but as guest commenters. And we've just had another Down to Earth over in WA signed up. Thank you. We all have to think about our water usage. As a veggie grower, I'm always mindful of saving as much as I can for my garden. That's right. These are those awareness markers that everyone's sharing with us this evening. And I suppose that's a nice segue to bring in our final guest on the screen on this side, which is Prue Bauer from Air Garden, and she's going to talk to us. Let me bring Prue in. Love your background there, Prue.
How are you, Costa? Hey, Chris.
I'm good. How are you? Hey, good to see you, Prue.
I'm in a little bit further up the road from Elizabeth in downtown Brisneyland, as we like to call it.
Oh, look at that. We've got the Northern Rivers, Brisneyland, right up through up to the Sunshine Coast. We've got people coming from WA. There's people coming from everywhere.
I'm going to have to go and have a coffee with Elizabeth. I'm just taking a long-term lease down the Tweed, Elizabeth, so I'm going to drop in and say hi.
Oh, that sounds good.
Yeah, there you go.
All right.
So, Prue, give us a little bit about your background and what your involvement is in Waternight. Just as I post this comment from John Freeborn, if anyone hasn't heard of this, there's an app called Snap Send Solve. So when you see leaks in the water or you see other problems, you can jump on Snap Send Solve and get action straight away, which is a really valuable one. So note that one down, everyone.
Yeah, that's a great app. Great segue, Costa. Saw that last comment come through from WA, who is a veggie grower, and I guess Air Garden, for those who don't know. So Air Garden was founded by myself and my brother, Tom, and we make and manufacture vertical aeroponic gardens. here in Queensland. And the big purpose for us is that we're, I guess, doing something that's both good for people and planet, because we definitely have a scarcity in our natural resources from the way that we've done things over the decades and the years in the past. So I was glad to see a gardener saying they were looking to conserve water, because I think, that's something that we're all picking up and we're all doing a lot more of, particularly post-COVID. But the awareness on how much water we actually use to do that, particularly in the traditional soil-based manner, is often kind of forgotten. Like the average lettuce is something like 60 litres of water to grow a lettuce. And what we try to do, I guess, with our system is reduce the usage of water down to about 95%. So instead of using 60 litres, we might use approximately 4 litres. So that's a fairly significant reduction in the amount of water used to grow something like a lettuce. And that's one example. So this is our second year being involved with Waternight, which has been really great. And I guess we came to be involved with Chris and Michelle and the team by actually applying for our smart watermark approval. And from that, got to, I guess, learn a lot more and get to be involved a lot more with the night, which we always get really excited about. It is a great initiative and a great event. And I think, like many people have said tonight, there's not many times we go and turn on the tap and the water doesn't come out. It's a bit of a given. That it's going to be there. And even listening to, Elizabeth talk about the water restrictions, you can go back and remember, oh yeah, we couldn't water the garden or we couldn't wash the car. Whereas I'm trying to get my 5 and 7-year-old to get into this, not 4-minute showers, but 3-minute showers with the timer on the side. But it's just not something that kind of, the water's always there. So I think it is something that we really take for granted. We are, one of the most drought-prone regions in the world, and it's a resource that we really do need to be mindful of and take better care of. So we're always happy to, get involved, but also to be part of that education process of showing people that there are different ways to do things that are less taxing on our planet. So that's why we get involved.
Oh, well, thank you, Prue. I'm just having some mouse challenges on this screen that's not mine. And
I think the education piece, though, is a good one. We were fortunate to do a bit of work through COVID, actually, with Education New South Wales, where they're working at that grassroots level again with the kids on, well, how do we solve some of these future problems that are coming down the track? So looking at, some of the technologies, we've been working with them with the air gardens as well, to understand some of that and what water are we using? Well, how can we not use that much water? So all those sorts of things. I was up in Emerald on Monday and Tuesday, where it's so incredibly dry in outback Queensland. And again, they're looking to roll that out with the kids out in the schools in those regions as well, to start that education process of how do we start to do things differently and what can we do to change so we're not having these ongoing future problems, or that we can make a difference. And I think, as everyone said, it's the small amounts of momentum. We often think, well, I'm not going to make a difference, but if everyone does something, then it's that motion that just creates that difference and that change. It's the 1%ers, right?
Yeah, 100%. Have you got any questions? Any of our panel? Have you got any questions you'd like to ask of Prue or of either of you? Well, we've got you all here, and I'm just going to go through, and there's a couple of questions here that I'm going to share with you. I'm just going to go back and dig those questions up. Chris? Now, there was one here.
Sorry, I'm on mute.
There was one here from Simon. Simon asked, where is it? Oh, Giovanni Luca asks, are we still encouraging the use of grey water for the garden? What's your position up in Tweed on that, Elizabeth? And Alex?
Oh, yeah, it's a little bit tricky. The New South Wales Health Department are a bit quiet on this issue these days. I think that the way we deal with it is we recognise that most people will, as restrictions come in, people do use their grey water in the garden. And we just have some simple rules around it. And there's a really good New South Wales Health fact sheet about it. It's quite old these days. I don't think Health have updated it for a while, but it still works. The main rule is not to use that grey water on any edible plants and veggies. And provided I think you adhere to that rule, then you should be fine. The risk of, I think there's always that risk of pathogens in the water. Especially using washing machine water. But we certainly don't discourage it. Yeah.
You just don't want to be it's like just put it straight on the garden, don't store it in a tank or anything.
Yeah, but be careful about storing it too, because you can attract mosquitoes and
don't store it
and whatnot. Yeah, so try and use it, as it's produced, as you collect it.
Yeah, I think so.
And also don't use it's not a disposal method. Try and use it on your garden at the roots of your plants. Don't leave it ponding anywhere, where mosquitoes can start breeding in it, that sort of thing.
Yeah, and the other thing to remember is don't be using it on the same spot over and over, because you need to remember that water is non-aerated, it's dead, and when you add to that the fact that there's detergents and other things in there, it can damage the microbial activity within the soil, because it basically clogs the air pores and so on. It's great to use on areas of lawn, but spread it around, so that it's not being used in the one spot where it can build up. But I suppose that's a bigger question for another conversation, but that it is a resource in saying that's for sure. Now, Simon Holloway asked, is there a stark difference between, I'll put it up here on the screen, there's just a slight little typo, verse. Is there a stark difference between regional versus urban water awareness and or water conservation?
Yeah, I think that's a really good question. I mean, I guess those people in regional areas are probably more likely to be on a rainwater tank, and they would, for certain, be much more aware of their water use, versus someone in a city who obviously has a supply straight to their home, which they may believe is unlimited, although obviously it's not really. But so yeah, there is a big difference. And actually, we just launched some research where we really try to drill into people's intentions, the difference between people's intentions and what they actually really do in reality. So that's available from our website at thewaterconservancy.org/research. But it's some really interesting research. We explored the 3 Gs, so being geography, so the differences within states and territories and regional and urban areas. So we kind of drilled down into that a little bit, and we explored the differences between genders, and we explored the differences between generations. And we really find the interesting thing with generations is that the younger generations are really the ones that are the least water literate and the ones that take water for granted the most, but they also, on the flip side of that, they really want to do the right thing by climate change, and they want to do the right thing by the environment. And so for us, that's why that younger generation is the real key audience, because if we can sort of, I guess, encourage Generation Z to understand why their water use is an important contributor to climate change, then we can bring them on our side and really help them use water wisely and value it more. So, so I encourage everybody to have a look at the research on our website. I don't know if we can put that in the chat at thewaterconservancy.org/research. But yeah, so you can download a copy of our latest research there.
Fantastic. Thanks for that, Chris. And I really recommend everyone to have a look at it, because it will just give you that next level of appreciation and understanding. And particularly when it comes to you all being advocates on the ground, sharing it with your families and your communities, having that data is key, because it just gives people a couple of little facts to latch onto. It gives you something to use in your conversation and your discussions. So it's not just like, oh yeah, it's a good idea. No, well, these are the facts, and these are the challenges. The fact that 9 out of 10 people all say that water is the number one thing that they're concerned about looking into the future. Yet that 9 out of 10 falls down to less than 50% having showers less than 5 minutes. So it's not translating, and it's all of these ideas that our guests have spoken about. And so many of you on the chat have come up with really important and valuable ideas that we can share, and take those, go back through the chat, take those ideas, share them with people. Here's the, I've just got the, I'll just put the stats that the website that Chris was talking about. I'm just going to put that on here so that you'll be able to get hold of that information, because really data is king, and the more we can share this information, then the more we can be not so much convincing, but just informative in our approach to building Waternight beyond 2023, of course. And the stats are great so far. We're more than, I saw those the last numbers. We're well over 11,226 individuals have signed up, and just under 4,000 households, which is fantastic. Hello, who's with you, Prue?
This is my youngest, Bebo, and she was very excited to share. How long do we have a shower for, B?
3 minutes.
3 minutes. That's it.
Oh, well done. Very good.
That's excellent. Well done. Share that with your friends. That's for sure. That's really important.
Mama, at ninja.
Yes, it's witching hour in Brisneyland.
Oh. So I noticed Ange says we've got a collapsible bucket for catching the water in the shower. Again, little things. You know, you collapse a bucket, you can put it just next to the sink or hide it away there, so it doesn't have to be this massive thing even sitting there if that becomes a problem. Little ideas that can help getting that message out there day to day. Any final comments from our guests? Matthew, anything you'd like to close with? We'll just go around the grounds.
No, just look great to be part of this conversation. These are really important conversations. We've got to think that water is actually very important for many other things. We've talked about a lot of things, particularly drinking and food, but it's, you know, food production in Australia, of course, depends on water. And a lot of our energy through, hydro and things like that depend on water as well. So it's the thing that makes this economy and our lives work. And I think that's very important to remember. And we'll be able to remember that tomorrow night. So thank you.
Thanks, Matthew. Alex?
Sorry, it's having a bit of trouble there. No, I just wanted to say it's a fantastic effort by the Water Conservancy, and we're all looking forward to Waternight. So thanks again.
Thanks a lot, Alex. Oh, someone's feeding back a little, but hopefully I'll just...
Sounds like someone's doing the vacuuming.
Yeah. Elizabeth.
Yes, final words. Sign up for Waternight, everybody. Yeah, it's really worthwhile, and it's a fun activity for the whole family.
Thanks, Elizabeth. Prue?
Okay, Bebo, no talking. It is a great activity. It's a great initiative, and we are really excited to have no water tomorrow between what time? 5 and 10. So everybody needs to sign up. It's those 1%ers. Let's all get on board and do our bit to make a difference.
Thanks a lot, Prue. Absolute treat to have all our guests with us. Chris, final word.
I wanted to share my favourite water saving tip, actually, which is something I do every day. That for anyone that has kids, so your kids come home from school and there's always a little bit of water left over in their drink bottle that they've taken to school. It's always like half full or something. So don't tip it down the sink. Just put it on your gardens or your veggie patch outside. And it's just the perfect little drink for them every evening. So that's my favorite tip. And look, I just wanted to say a big thank you to all of the sponsors and in-kind supporters around the country. We've had some Alex and Elizabeth and Prue and Matthew. It's great to have you on tonight and to hear what you've got to say. And I really appreciate your support. But I also wanted to recognise the support of everyone else who isn't joining us tonight. There's many other water utilities and sponsors around the country that are doing great work to promote Waternight within their areas. Thank you so much to everybody for your support. And we're also really excited. This is the first year that it's gone to the UK. So it's an international event now. And so the UK tomorrow will be doing Waternight at the same time as us, just 9 hours behind because of the time difference, but still doing 5 till 10 in the UK. And I can't wait to find out the results from over there. And it could get a bit competitive in the future to see which country kind of does more when it comes to Waternight. But we'll see. We'll watch this space and see. But, thanks, everybody. And my final call to action is to go to waternight.com.au and sign up to be in a chance to win one of the fabulous giveaway prizes that we've got available tonight. You have about it's almost 8 o'clock, so you have about my maths is not working, less than 22 hours to sign up and get involved with Waternight. So thanks, everyone.
Chris, thank you, and a big thanks also to Carla and the team at the Water Conservancy for all the effort that they've been doing. I know you mentioned it, but I'll just mention them again. They've done a great job in helping getting the message out to everyone who's joined in on the chat tonight. Thank you for all your tips. Thank you for all the examples that you've been doing as active water conservers and conscious water citizens. It's really wonderful to hear those ideas. And to everyone watching the replay, flick through all the comments and take and share some of the wonderful tips that people have been sharing. It's wonderful to have this level of engagement on both sides of the presentation divide, as valuable in the comments as it is through all of our specialists and all our guests. So again, thanks to Nick and Prue and Alex and Elizabeth and Carla and Matthew and Chris and the team. And keep spreading the word. We've got another just a little less than 24 hours to get some more sign-ups. So spread the word on your socials, on your websites, in your workplace, with your family and friends, and really looking forward to seeing how things go for everyone between 5 and 10 p.m. tomorrow night. Thanks very much for joining us, everyone, and here's to Waternight 2023. See ya.
Bye.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye.